Parinam, we will start at 10:05 sharp.
All right, sir. Okay. I'll wait for another 2-3 minutes then.
Yes, ma'am. At 10:05 we will start it.
Okay. I think we can start now, sir.
Yeah. Good morning, Dr. Philip. You are welcome.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Hi, good morning. Good morning.
Morning, sir. How are you? Yeah.
It's fine. And what about you?
Well, working at home. It's nice to see you all again.
Okay. Thank you. Let's, ma'am, you start it. Okay.
Sure, sir. A very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I once again welcome you all to day 2 of the International Conference on Futuristic Innovations in Technology and Energy, FITE 2020, sponsored by All India Council for Technical Education and jointly organized by Department of Mechanical Engineering, Department of Electrical and Electronics and Communication Engineering, Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering, and Department of Business Administration. We had some very relevant deliberations yesterday on alternative fuels for vehicles, trends and challenges of modern automotive vehicles, disruptions and suggested innovations in supply chain, followed by paper presentation in various technical tracks in the domain of engineering and management. Continuing with the series of expert talks, we have two eminent speakers in this session. Please put your hands together for our first speaker, Professor Dr. Philip P. Ermita, Dean, College of Engineering, Philippines. If you permit me, sir, though you need no introduction, but if you permit me, then I can introduce you, sir.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
Thank you, sir. An expert in the domain of industrial engineering and orator par excellence, Dr. Philip Ermita is currently the Dean of College of Engineering of University of Perpetual Help System, Dalta Calamba Campus, Philippines. He earned the doctorate degree in engineering management from Neva Ekija University of Science and Technology. I think I'm pronouncing it right, sir.
Yes, it's great.
Trying my best. These words are slightly new for me. And Masters in Engineering from Adamson University in Philippines. Dr. Armita has worked in different manufacturing industries such as ceramics and electronics manufacturing. Since year 210, he's strongly involved in academic development and innovation of engineering programs through outcomes-based education transition. He's strongly committed to animate engineering education for students' welfare, development, and global opportunities through research presentations, paper publications, and academic speaking engagement in both local and international arena. In the year 2016, Dr. Ermita was conferred as Professional Industrial Engineer and ASEAN Engineer. A big round of applause for our guest speaker, Professor Philip Ermita, who is joining us all the way from Philippines. Welcome, sir. Namaste. Welcome to India and welcome to our conference. I now request you, sir, to kindly take over the session.
Yeah. Let me share my slides. Okay. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can't see. Yeah, it's about to come, I think.
Okay. Oh, wait. Okay. So,
maybe there might be some issue at my end. Others, are you able to see the PowerPoint presentation?
Not visible, ma'am. Not visible.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. Sir.
Yeah.
Right now there is a dark screen. Just that. Probably it is loading.
Yeah. Just wait for a minute. I'm trying because I can't view what I'm sharing right now.
Yeah, might be coming because we are waiting. That's
Sometimes
okay.
it is a time lag, ma'am.
Yeah, it takes time many times.
Yeah. Let's wait for maybe 2 minutes for loading.
It's okay. That's absolutely fine, sir.
Madam, Dr. Philip, can you share the PPT with at FITE 2020?
Yeah,
I will start the presentation from here. That will be easy. I think due to network issues that can happen.
You can mail the presentation. Somebody can you write the mailing address in the chat box, or sir, I can tell it to you.
Okay, I'll mail it better. I think better if I will send it via email.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Sorry if I'm taking time.
No, sir, that's absolutely fine.
It happens.
No, we are so grateful that you could make it to the conference. So
every time Dr. Shukla invites me, I'm always available.
It's a symbiotic relationship, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
In fact, it's half an hour early. That is our normal times. So not an issue. It will send it.
Okay, I'm sending it now.
Should I tell you the ID?
That is available in chat box, I think.
Right.
Somebody has posted it.
All right. Okay.
Oh, wait. Mm,
You just mail on it FITE.
it's already attaching in the email.
Okay, okay.
Mm, I will reply on the
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think on the
that's-
email. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
just send it in the email that we're talking. Yeah. Once I'm sharing, I cannot view what I'm sharing here in my end. Okay, it's attaching already. There it go. Already sent, sir? Already sent.
I am just refreshing the mail.
Yeah. While waiting, so to everyone's information, ABES is already, I've been there before. If I'm not mistaken, 2 years ago, I visited the place already. And it's a good place. So I was invited by Dr. Shukla, and if I remember on the last day, I was able to roam around, and really great to be there. So such that in this pandemic, I was not able to visit India again. So if ever, it will be my 5th or 6th visit in India. No, so nice to it will be missing on my part to see you again on this kind of conference.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
invited you personally, sir, on the offline
last
mode.
year.
Yes, so
You visited in
ABES
2018.
is not new to me, so I think I was there 2017.
I am just
2018. 2018 you was here in 2018
2018
in the March
yeah.
because there is a poster in front of
Yeah.
me. It was 27th and 28th
Yeah.
March. Yeah, I can see your photograph. I'm seeing it daily, in fact.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. You have a great team there. You have a great team. I know there's some obstacles before if you're going to push through with the conference or not, but again, we are moving to another conference. Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Is it visible to all?
Yes, that's nice.
Yeah, it is visible because, sir, Philip, sir, you just let us know when you need to change the slide. So our team at over here, they'll help you with that.
Okay.
Right. You just let us know.
Okay, can I start now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, good morning, everyone, and it's good afternoon here in the Philippines. So here in the Philippines is around 12:45 p.m. I know it's 10 o'clock there in India. And before I start, I would like to greet the patron-in-chief of the AICTE, the chairman, Professor Anil Sahasrabudhe. Hope I pronounce it correctly. The patrons, the president of ABES ECC, Professor Joel, the vice president Sachin Joel, the director Shailesh Tiwari, of course, the general chair of this conference, Professor Dr. Shukla, the conveners, Professor Dr. Hemant Ahua, Professor Dr. Sanjay Kumar Singh, Professor Dr. Monica Gupta, the organizing committees, my fellow speakers, our audience, the faculty and researcher scholars. Good morning in India, and good afternoon worldwide or in the Philippines. So first, it's a great opportunity to be invited here again in ABES conference. No, I salute all the people behind this because in these difficult times, with this pandemic, it's quite difficult. Nevertheless, we are here. We are here to see each other virtually, to share futuristic innovations in technology and engineering. Then here I am. Would like to share with you some of my thoughts with my preparations entitled "Reimagining and Rethinking Engineering Education: A Key in Technological Innovation in Engineering Transformations." Again, I am Dr. Philip Ermita, a professional industrial engineer and a science engineer at the Dean of the College of Engineering of University Perpetual Health System Delta, Philippines. So again, good day. Next slide, please. Okay, so we are talking about, since yesterday I attended with a sharing of different innovations in engineering. No, just try to, the demand of engineering right now is really big, no, in these difficult times and this pandemic. So just like to reiterate again, so let's go back. What is engineering? So the word engineer originates from the Latin term engerare, meaning to invent, to create, or to regulate. So that means for engineers or innovators in these difficult times, it requires a lot of responsibilities. Sometimes when we do create, yes, we do innovate, but nevertheless, sometimes we try to check about is it significant? It has a big impact in the community. So let's try to look back. How are we going to continue producing more engineers that will give impact to our community or even to the world? Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so is engineering a priority program? No. Of course, just to share with you, here in the Philippines, most of the engineering programs are in demand. So these are the list of priority courses. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so looking at it, like what I've shared, in the Philippines, that is a priority program, and definitely it also coincides with the priority program of different countries or worldwide. Looking at it with the different scholarships that we have, that means continuously, even without pandemic, engineering is really in demand. Now, specifically in these difficult times, as I observed with the different engineering scholarships, it mostly pertains to the needs of a particular country. No? So, for example, here in Asia, most of the in-demand engineering scholarships that like involves agricultural engineering. Okay, of course, in Japan, there's also in demands related to technology, but how somehow it requires on the particular needs of that particular country. Okay, I visited some of the countries like in Asia, like in Singapore, in Thailand, in Indonesia. No, as I observe, the scholarships that they need, or the topic specifically on the PhD program, is the topic that they strongly need. So in one way, it's a give and take opportunity given to scholars. Next slide, please. Okay, so is there a demand for engineers in these difficult times? Yes. Looking at it, in talking about the demand for Industry 4.0 with the digitalization, and with looking at it, we are now gearing towards Industry 5.0, and there you go, we are in the COVID-19 pandemic, and looking at it or coinciding with it, we are still lucky enough that we are on this digital age. Now, digital age or digitation era requires a lot of responsibilities among engineers. Okay, a lot of innovation, a lot of methodologies on how we can prevent this virus. Okay, so I do believe in India, Indians are very innovative. Also here in Asia now, they are on the race to solve this pandemic concerns now with the vaccines, and there's a lot of really demand on the skills pertaining to engineering. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, how engineers are working through the coronavirus pandemic. Okay, so I tried to search on the last issued last the previous month, like April. So according to Terry Person, companies also need to ensure that their IT infrastructure can accommodate work that has to be done remotely and do it securely. Okay, it's like what I've said. It's really we are still lucky enough because we are already in the technology age. And imagine that when this pandemic happens and we don't, we are not yet in this type of era, and most probably electronic or electronic conference or online conference like this will not be feasible. Okay. Engineers are completely implementing new work guidelines on how we can still continue with the production to supply the needs, no, specifically the foods in the entire world. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, let me share with you some four ways of engineering could change after the COVID pandemic. Okay, according to imechi.org, okay, in these difficult times, engineering responds to sudden demands of building ventilators. Okay, so because of the demand for the healthcare, okay, making personal protective equipment, I do believe that different countries had been very innovative on how to supply the needs of the healthcare system. No, specifically on the demands of the in terms of hospital capacity, companies, institutions, spectrum, and then all of to collaborate. No, you don't have to be, you know, you have to be an expert industrial engineer, but it's always be a collaborative effort. So look, as we move forward, I'm just share what will be how are we going to reimagine and redefine engineering as we go along in these difficult times. Next slide. Next slide, please. Okay. Second is the need for speed. You know, we engineers are I do believe that there's a lot of procedures when we do experimentation to do innovative things. But what happened to this pandemic? We engineers demonstrated their full capacity when restrictions were lifted, creating prototypes in days and completed devices in weeks. You know, examples were the corona. You know, the Chinese were able to develop a building for additional healthcare for just a matter of days. They were able to build hospitals, equipments to support the needs of building building hospital for their healthcare system. It's an amazing response, and yet it's a great example of how engineers can respond. And when some of the barriers are removed and really quick, you know, that's a big innovation. You know, innovation that's not only in this times we have to be quick, no? And then imagine how are we going to develop more engineers that they can think with a speed, no? That's a challenge specifically among higher education. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, next slide, please. Okay. Now, we are also a change in the landscape in terms of the focus, wherein there will be increase for demand engineering that fights, prevents diseases, okay, in creating ventilators, antibacterial surfaces, temperature monitoring devices, and other high-tech solutions. So specifically in this conference, this is also a venture for all of us to share, okay, to share innovations that is strongly have an impact to the world, to our community, okay, to stop the spread of the virus. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, just to give you a big picture, okay, so in this after this most probably this COVID, this pandemic, what are the top 5 skills to future-proof engineering career? Okay, so we have this data engineering. We're in data engineers, data analysts, data scientists, and other engineers were going steadily with its demand, no? Because life must continue and work must continue, and we have to be smart enough on how we can make decisions despite of these difficulties. Okay? Cloud computing or cloud engineering has been more dominant here because of the online classes, okay, online works, and it will be easier if it will be used the cloud engineering technology, okay. Cybersecurity, because we are really prone for online works and minimizing the normal uh, uh, day-to-day operations. Okay, so since we're talking about online, so online security is very important. So this is one of the demands in the coming in the future career for engineering. And also it talks about digital marketing. Okay, so marketing before pandemic, it's the normal what we do, but now as you can see all over the world, they are utilizing digitalization, so using media, using the use of the internet to promote their products and so on. Okay, and also of course, like I will mention later the demands for engineers as a business analyst. You know, there are already a lot of CEOs or leaders that are engineers, not only not only promoting innovations, but also business innovations. Okay. There's an estimate from the US of the labor statistics demand for management analysts, including the business analyst that likely to grow 14%, okay, between the 2018 and the 2028. And as we all know, there are already a lot of engineers who are now the leading leaders in terms of business solutions and innovations in the world. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, now let me share with you now on the part of the education sectors, how are we going to, with this kind of demand for engineers, how are we going to produce more engineers that are innovative, okay, output driven, okay, in continuing um, making impact to the society. You know, um, like there are different things. No, like there are what you call this uh, problem finders, and there's also this if problem founders, and there are also problem finders. Okay, so that means we have to really look at it on how we are going to reimagine and rethink on how we can deliver. Okay, like going in the definition of engineering, it's innovation, create. So how can we respond further with this in the upcoming generations? Okay, so new report coming from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology that it takes a worldwide look at the future of how engineers are trained. Okay, engineers will address the new complex of societal challenges of the 21st century by building a new generation of machines, okay, materials and systems. And now targeting engineering education at the industries of the future rather than the industries of the past. So that means we are no longer in the mass industrialization stage, but we are now on the industry 4.0 going to 5.0, which is from digitalization to art going to what do you call this, mass industrialization using the AI. Okay, next slide please. Okay, some key challenges facing engineering education, in some cases higher education as a whole. Okay, this include aligning the goals of the national governments and higher education. So that means how are we going to reimagine? Of course, we try to look at it as looking on aligning the goals of the national government and coinciding with the vision of the higher education. Okay, in a way, we can deliver student-centered learning to large student cohorts. Okay, and at the same time, there's also in demand that we should have setting up a faculty and appointment and promotion systems that better reward high quality of teaching. Because if we are going to develop students, it always coincides with developing our instructors or our professors. Okay. Next slide, please. There are three trends defining the future of engineering education. Okay. Breeding a lot of direction towards engineering education. The first is tilting of the global axis of engineering education leadership. Okay, engineers are, I can say, we will not. Engineers should not be trained technically. Okay? Of course, definitely they will not just work as technical engineers. Rather, they will also be involved in the type of leadership that also brings innovation in any business. Okay, so according to MIT, this is now the new platform. You know, in the Philippines engineering curriculum, we are now starting to involve what we call this involving engineering and entrepreneurship. Okay, we call that as technopreneurship. Okay, we are already building the foundation among our students of how to bridge the gap between business and engineering, coming up with technopreneurship. Okay, the second is the shift towards the programs that integrate student-centered learning with a curriculum-oriented. Okay, so this is already pressing the challenges of the 21st century. Okay, so we are now looking forward on not only with skills, but also on the centered learning of the students with its final output that can make a big impact to the community. So this is more on the concept of engineering yet, but it is more on a student-centered learning, okay, curriculum. So this may demands on the flexible learning. Okay, how will the student will learn on its specific outcomes that will realize his field of specialization. Okay, the third is the emergence of new generation. Okay, like I have said a while ago, so it's very important that we try to evolve to engineering the culture of leadership that can also bring innovation to the business platform that we have. I do believe that in somehow um, li- living in the different countries requires different type of leadership because of we are on a different culture. Nevertheless, if we can work together in developing future engineers that involves leadership, can still be a big difference to the world. Um, as I traveled in the different part of Asia, I've seen uh, innovative schools or universities. They are now run by engineers. Okay. So what I observe is that in the Philippines, we have already uh, three engineers, a president. They are engineers, but they are also the president of the universities, now making a big difference in terms of delivering the outcomes among the students. Okay, in some other countries, like I observed, it's uh, in Seoul National University, the president is an engineer. Okay, and in Chulalongkorn in Thailand, one of the best school in Thailand is already run by an engineer. So I've seen the emergence of leaders with coupled with engineering principles. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay. So new engineering education transformation. So as per my reading and trying to also apply this to my institution, no, looking into consideration on the different track also of providing transformation among its two students, regardless of what type of engineering field we are in. Okay, they are now incorporating renewable energy machines. Okay, regardless of the type of field. So this is it's like an agenda or a research agenda on the field of engineering, wherein it tries to combat climate change, okay, by designing building green energy production, conversion, storage, and transmission systems. So it's like a specialization, but it addresses specifically on the type of transformation that an engineering student can apply with, okay, may apply with, okay. Advanced materials machines, wherein it tried to explore the novel materials, technologies, and processes that will define the future of fabrication and manufacturing. Okay, so looking at this education transformation, it's no longer on the type of specific field, no, but rather it is more on the type of or the what do you call it, the specific impact of that specialization. Okay, it can either be on the autonomous machines also, wherein design, build, and deploy electromechanical systems, okay, electronic software, and autonomy of algorithms for application of robots, or I can say the AI. Okay, okay. Uh, Engineering transformation towards a digital cities. Okay, so this is also a way. Well, it's really a good challenge among universities on how we can really contribute in creating a digital cities. Okay, as we look forward with the industry 4.0 to 5.0, it is a way of preparing to plan and build the cities of the future. Okay, by immersing them into the emerging intersections of computer science and urban planning. Like looking at it with the computer science and the urban planning. So it's a collaborative. Maybe it can be in a form of architecture. Then the civil engineering, combining with a different field of other engineering. Okay, living machines. This is already now a transformative approach in engineering education, wherein we try to discover, build, and engineer living systems for broad applications in biotechnology and medical devices. No, as we all know, as I normally attend with the different conferences, biomedical engineering is the next top topics of engineering that is really big, with a big in demand, no, with the type of difficulties that we have because of this virus. Now bioengineering biomedical engineering in support to living machines is really a good venture in the next 10 to 15 years from now. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so with the new landscape in engineering transformation, so let me share with you some of the worldwide on how setting the standard for engineering. So just to share with you with some of the highlights for ABET accreditation, or the Accreditation Board for Engineering and Technology. So ABET accreditation provides assurance that a college or university program meets the quality standards of the profession for which that program prepares the graduates. Okay, so this is an accreditation body that will somehow link that redefining or reimagining engineering education. Okay, so take note that ABET accredit programs, not the institutions. Okay, so ABET provides specialized accreditation for post-secondary programs within degree granting institutions already recognized by national or regional institutional accreditation. Okay, so with the recent data coming from the ABET, okay, there are already 4,144 applied and natural science, computer engineering, and engineering technology programs at 812 colleges and universities in 32 countries worldwide. Okay, so like just what I'm saying is that if we are really going to redefining, reimagining, so at least one way or another, the engineering programs should be aligned in one standards that will make it more ideal and common outcomes worldwide. When we talk about outcomes, program educational objectives to engineering programs. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so just a brief background of again, supporting background for ABET. So it is a federation of members that handled by professional and technical societies, okay, which has its own criteria. Okay, and it will also provides mobility among engineers. Okay, so it's like if we are on the same standards for engineering, somehow we can say that we are speaking in the same language, speaking in the same minds, okay, towards innovation. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so some of the impact of ABET accredited worldwide. So looking at it with a map, so there's already a lot. Okay, there's an increases since 2019, considering 160 programs with the 34 institutions worldwide. Okay, next slide. Okay, so just to share also some of the schools that here in the Philippines, or the universities that are already committed to ABET, no, which I can say, but our university is already starting to prepare for this. But that's why I shared, because it has a big impact in terms of reimagining engineering education, like the Batangas State University in the Philippines, Mapua University, De La Salle University, and Technological Institute of the Philippines. So with this accreditation, really changed the platform of engineering outcomes in producing more engineers here in the Philippines. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, there's also a framework, okay, wherein how we can also reimagine and rethink engineering education transformation. Is, I don't know if everyone is already familiar with the CDIO. Okay, the CDIO has the concept of conceive, design, implement, and operate. So these are already also this is also a framework actually that provides students with an education stressing engineering fundamentals in the context of conceiving, designing, implementing, operating in the real world problems. Okay, so the CDIO developed with the input for academics, industry engineers, students, and a design template that can be adopted by any university engineering schools. Okay, you know, the reason why I'm sharing this, because I can see a lot of impacts with this framework when I attended some of the CDIO conferences. And what I've seen is that the culture of engineering students are outcomes driven. Okay, you know that they are not just the concept of the engineering student are not just they will just develop something new, rather, but they are just developing because it has an impact or it has an outcomes to the community, and that makes a value of as an engineer. Okay, next slide please. Okay, some of the share with you some of the 12 CDIO standards. Okay, so the CDIO context alone, we're in the conceive, design, implement, and operate. Okay, looking at it with a framework, we're in those stages requires personal, interpersonal, and technical skills. So looking at it, you know, it's also somehow you are already developing engineer with this leadership skills. Okay, that also focuses on the following: the learning outcomes, integrated curriculum, you know, introduction to engineering, the concept of designing and implement experience, developing engineering workspaces, okay, integrated learning experiences, and active learning as well. Okay, enhancement of the faculty CDIO competence, enhancement of faculty teaching competence, okay, learning assessment, and of course program evaluation. You know, when I attended the CDIO conference hosted by the Chulalongkorn, you know, the typical classroom was really transformed. The students are free moving, wherein that the professors are only facilitators, and based on studies and outputs of the students, they are really good and results to um, um, a bigger impact, a new developed engineers. You know, maybe you can search more on the concept of CDIO. It's really a good engineering transformation. Next slide, please. Okay, some of the project-based learning in engineering education, no, with using the concept of the CDIO, no, some I highlight here. I also provided the links. Some of the student conceived, they were able to develop the rocket project, rocket mission, the rocket engine. That is because of the concept of the project-based learning in engineering education provided by different higher education worldwide. Okay, just try to search with the link I provided here. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so in the CDIO, there are already 115 participating members worldwide. Okay, because of this concept or new landscape of engineering education. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay. The CDA approach is provides a reference model for engineering education where professional practice and innovation is focused. So on this type of concept of engineering education, this is focused on the innovation. Also a approach wherein syllabus and standards elements can be used as an integrated, or the piecewise are subject to adaptation to local context. Okay, it also an open endeavor wherein different universities share their best practices. You know, is that they are really what do you call this? They always share the best practices when you attend conferences on how the significant impact on the engineering student cultures in making or an output driven program for engineering. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so this is also some of the sharing with you some of the certification accreditation that also being promoted here in the Philippines. What we call this the PTC, or the Philippine Technological Council. Okay, so it was already it was formed in 1978, but looking at it, we are now under a umbrella for the Washington Accord. So this also bridges the gap between standardizing the outcomes for all engineering programs in the Philippines. Okay, next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is share with you some of the overall framework that we are following here in the Philippines. Wherein we follow the IPO format, wherein the input are on the students' enrollment, resources, societal needs. In processing, we try to adapt the OBE, the outcomes-based education, through teaching and learning facilitation, assessment, evaluation methods, and curriculum design. No, with normally when we do curriculum designs, we consultation with the different stakeholders of the institution, or which is very significant, specifically the needs of the industries. Okay, and then in terms of the outcomes and how we were able to develop, or how were we able to achieve or measures the student outcomes before he finished the program, the engineering program. Okay, next slide, please. And of course, we tried to follow the what do you call this, the OBE outcomes-based education flowchart, wherein we start from the mission vision of the institution, the PEO or the program educational objectives, identify the program outcomes, and the course outcomes itself. And then we try to measure with what we call the CQI, or the continuous quality improvement, analysis and assessment, if there's a need for us to revise the outcomes or the PEO that will coincide the mission vision of the institution, specifically engineering institutions. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so some of the criteria that normally handled by the PTC is the program educational objectives, the student outcomes, the students, okay, faculty support staff, curriculum, facilities and learning, leadership and institutional support, okay, and other like the continuous quality improvement that we do for the engineering programs. So also because of this Philippine Technological Council umbrella with the Washington Accord, we are active on the what they call this, the ASEAN Federation organizations, wherein as you can see, I am a conferred as ASEAN engineer, which the benefit is that the engineering programs are recognized to different ASEAN countries. That is also a way of standardizing the engineering programs within the ASEAN countries. Okay, so we are actually getting towards there. So there's also an association of engineers like the APEC Engineering, wherein the Asia Pacific Engineering organizations are also standardizing their culture and the type of engineering outcomes. Wait, next slide, please. Next slide, please. Next slide. Okay, so reimagining and rethinking engineering education requires a lot of, as well, innovation on the part of higher education institution or the engineering educators, because we do believe as engineers or even professors, we have this challenge of innovating our future engineers. And I do believe that we educators can see a brighter future for our engineering graduates. So from this, we can still innovate our methodologies, because we do believe that nothing is forever. Everything changes from time to time. It's up for the educators on how we also to rethink and reimagine engineering transformation platform for future engineers. Okay, next slide, please. Before I end my talk, so let me share with this. At its heart, engineering is about using science to find creative practical solutions. Engineering is always a noble professions. So again, thank you very much for providing me opportunity. And with this type of concept or conference that we have, we can still continue innovating for the future and for our future engineers. Once again, thank you very much, and God bless us all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. A big round of applause for the wonderful talk delivered by Professor Dr. Helmut Ermita. He's joined us all the way from Philippines.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And thank you for the wonderful talk, sir. And most certainly, we need to redefine the definition of engineering in these difficult times. As you very rightly mentioned, sir, digital era requires a lot of innovations on part of the engineers, and no doubt the pandemic has created and also assigned so many more responsibilities on the traditional engineer. Thank you for suggesting various trends in engineering due to the pandemic. You mentioned about collaboration, you talking about working at a faster pace, and of course, working from home is the new normal these days, and definitely an engineer needs to develop new focus. Your reference to the term technopreneurship, which is bridging the gap between business and academia. Definitely, it is a critical requirement in contemporary times. We all are working in that direction. We need to take another step ahead if we have to cope with all these times. So thank you once again, sir, for joining us. A big round of applause once again for sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Dear friends, our next speaker for this session is Dr. Andrei V. Kuzmin, Senior Researcher, Institute of Engineering, Thermal Physics of National Academy of Sciences in Ukraine, and Managing Editor, International Journal of Energy for a Clean Environment, Begel House Incorporation Publications. Is sir there with us? I saw sir has joined. Andrew, sir?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome, sir. Accept our greetings. Namaste. Welcome to India. Welcome to FITE. Welcome to ABES.
Thank you so much. I would like to thank all of you and Professor Shukla especially for this invitation. I was in India 3 years ago, and I was in ABES Engineering College that time with my lecturers. It was very interesting time. It was very interesting communication. I have a lot of friends in India since that time, and thank you. This is very pleasant for me to take part in your event. Maybe I can share my screen.
If you just permit me, can I just introduce you to our audience, sir?
Yes, sure.
Yeah, I'll try to make it short. So those of you who are meeting sir for the first time, let me bring it to your notice that Dr. Kuzmin is a professional scientist and researcher. He has his doctoral degree in technical sciences from prestigious university in Ukraine, and he has an excellent experience in both numerical and physical investigations of heat transfer, hydrodynamics, and similar processes. At the same time, Sir has worked in industrial sector and has great understanding of different manufacturing and industrial processes and technologies. His experience in business development, marketing and sales gives him a basic understanding of commercial issues and promotion skills. Sir has more than 30 years of experience in areas such as thermal physics and hydrodynamics, numerical investigations and mathematical modeling, heat, mass transfer, hydrodynamics, and other related areas. More than 30 years of experience in database development and management. Again, more than 30 years of experience in applied software development. He's very versatile and has vast experience in other areas such as project management, scientific events producing and organizing, scientific publishing, web development, and many more. Since 2003 till date, Sir is publisher and editor-in-chief of Scientific Journal on Technical Sciences topics. Once again, sir, we welcome you as a guest speaker in FITE 2020. I request you now to kindly take over the session.
Okay, thank you very much. You told much more about me than I sent to the organization committee. So you know all about me, and I'm surprised with this. Thank you very much.
I just shared a very small part of it, sir. Actually.
Okay.
In case there is some issue in sharing the slides at your end,
yes,
you can mail it us to the conference ID, and we can share it from our end. Just let us know.
Okay, for now, can you see my presentation?
I am not able to see it, sir. Others, other attendees, if you could please confirm.
Ma'am, it is not visible.
Yeah.
It is coming in internet issues.
Yes, it should. Let's give it a few seconds more.
Yes, sir. It might be loading.
Yeah.
So once more, you do not see my presentation?
Not as yet, sir.
Looks strange.
You mentioned yesterday also, I think there are some network issues and power problem currently, in Ukraine. Probably that could be the reason. And despite that, you are able to make it to our conference, sir. Seriously, thank you so much. Appreciate it so much.
No, I think this is because I am not familiar with Microsoft Teams, but it looks like Zoom. I know Zoom very well, and
Sir, you kindly send the PPT to FITE2020@abes.ac.in. I will manage from here. You give presentation from your end. I will manage from here. Okay?
Yes.
So can somebody write the mail ID in the chat box? So
okay, I will try to share it again. No presentation? Hello?
Not as yet,
No,
sir.
Okay. The next attempt. So, sorry, please.
That's okay, sir. This issue was coming yesterday also probably, and that could be the reason, people are mostly using Zoom and other platforms. Probably that is because Microsoft Teams So no issues. You can send it to us, sir. We did it yesterday also, and
Okay,
Philip
I
sir
will
also
try to
faced the same
reconnect
problem.
to the meeting. Okay, for now. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Are you sending your PPT, sir?
Hello. Oh. Hello, for now, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Do you see my presentation?
No, sir.
No, sir.
It looks strange because I'm sharing screen. I try to share my PowerPoint and okay. If you have technical assistance, we can do the following. We can, if the next speaker is ready, maybe he or she can start presentation, and then I will send my presentation to you.
Sir,
Okay.
we wait for it. Our previous speaker has already finished. That's absolutely fine. You can mail it to us. We are waiting. That is no issue.
Okay.
So it is hardly a matter of 2 minutes or so.
Okay.
Yeah. You mail it to the conference ID. It is there in the chat box, and just let us know when to change the slide. So our technical support team on this side will do.
Okay. Couple of minutes, please.
Yeah, absolutely no issue, sir. Take your time.
Can I put my presentation to the chat?
Mail ID, sir? Should I call out the mail ID if you need it? Most of the speakers always, they mentioned about disruptions, and technology can also be a disruptor many a times. So that's okay, sir. You can mail it to the conference ID.
Hello.
Sir, have you mailed it?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I just sent my presentation by email FITE
Okay, I'm checking.
2020.
Because sir, have you, yeah, see, it's there, sir.
Okay.
You just let us know when we need to change the slide. We'll do it at our end.
Okay.
Sir, is it visible to you?
Yes, I can see it. Okay, thank you.
Yes. All the participants, are you able to see the slides?
Yes, yes, sir. It is visible. Now it is not visible. Yes, now.
Okay, I will ask to change the slide, and you will do this. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, are you ready?
Yeah, we are able to hear you.
Okay, I will start for now. Again, thank you for invitation. Sorry for some technical.
Your desktop is. I think you go to the PPT and then you can. Yes, you can go through now.
Okay, thank you. Sorry for these technical issues, please. Sometimes this happens. I know this well because I'm a conference organizer, and I conducted a few online conferences in the last year, in this year, and sometimes the technical issues will be very serious, but thank you for helping me, and we will go forward. Can everybody hear me good?
Absolutely,
Yes, sir,
sir.
we can
Perfectly audible.
Okay, this is the question because in a few places of my presentation, I will ask the participants, I will ask the all the delegates some questions, and would be very grateful if you will answer me. Do you agree? Hello? Nobody want to interact with.
Agreed, sir. It's a deal.
Nobody want to interact with me except organizers.
Yes, sir, your voice is coming, sir. Yeah.
Probably they're getting the notebook and the pen, sir.
Okay, I hope the auditory will be more active. Okay, I'm starting now. I suppose I do not need to explain the importance of the Scopus Web of Science publications. For the last 10 years, this importance is growing more and more. The researchers from over the entire planet try writing the scientific manuscripts, and their volume is increased exponentially. And when we try this to publish our manuscripts for the first time, maybe not the first time, but without enough experience, we usually receive some very sad letters, sad emails from the journals. Please show next slide. Okay, this is the typical letter of refusals from the journal. The real letter I have got some time ago from the real journal of the Energy Institute of first quarterly in Scopus. You can see the text. I will emphasize some issues. Dear authors, thank you for giving us the opportunity to consider your work. After reviewing your paper, it was felt that the material presented did not add sufficient new insights to the subject area. You can see this with the red market. Unfortunately, therefore, I regret to inform you, blah, blah, blah. So our paper will be rejected. How we can avoid this? Next slide, please. How we can avoid those refusals, how we can publish our results in the Scopus indexed periodical. What are the main reasons of refusal? What are the main editorial criteria for selection? A lot of different questions. Usually authors do not know the answers. And this is very important to know how we can to communicate with the editorial boards, with the reviewers, with the production team. And I have this experience. I have this experience from maybe from 2016, and it is very interesting. I will show some of my experience today for you. But for now, I will show you a little piece of the reason. So please, next slide. Yes, the number of the scientific periodicals last time, which included in the rating system now, is very big. And some of the previously included periodicals removed from the indexation. We all know this very well, and therefore each half of year we have to check the updates of the discontinued sources to be sure of the journal we want to publish our results is still indexed. The reasons of the source exclusion from the indexation are following. It's maybe two main following reasons: poor quality of the published research, or dishonesty of the authors and or of the editors of the periodical, which leads to the falsification of the published data. For example, now you can see on slide the selected retraction notice. This is the retraction of the manuscript. The periodicals of high reputation always monitor bad behavior of authors or editors and retract manuscripts which undergone to this issue. Please show the next slide. If we check the retraction issue, we can see the publication in that journal, and the next slide will show the exact text of the retraction notice. Please show me. Next slide. Yes, the exact text of the retraction. This article has been redacted at the request of the editor-in-chief, and for the reasons, 3 points was indicated. Please click mouse. Hello, my presentation has some animations, and if you click mouse, the animation will be started. In any case, click mouse in any case, just click mouse. No? Yes, okay. This is concern which has been raised about the identity of the author. No. No, please return to the yes. These 3 points is the very little reason of the retraction. They meant that author David Ross, as the listed institution, has denied the affiliation of the person with his name. And another point, second, is that names of the co-authors were added to the revised version, and this is prohibited. For now, if we check in the Scopus profile of David Ross, we can find 2 more recorded manuscripts from another journals. Monitoring of the possible falsification by the journals provided permanently, and as the result of the monitoring, the retraction of the article can be made even after a few years. So I show this information to you as a little example of what a seemingly insignificant detail can cause a manuscript to be rejected. And this is the first and very big point I am giving your attention to now. Be please extremely attentive to the smaller details when you prepare your manuscript, when you submit your manuscript, and when you interact with the editorial boards. Okay, I suppose that we now can go forward. Despite the fact I am speaking about the Scopus right now, all my remarks given here are related to both journal metric system, Scopus, and Web of Science. Besides, the high-rated journals of the Scopus almost indexed in them both. What usually authors are looking for the metrics of the periodical. Please show next slide. Yes. Now I would like to ask my assistant, could you please start presentation not from PowerPoint, but from the whole screen?
Pardon, sir? Pardon?
Yes, whole screen.
Full screen.
Full screen? It is full screen?
It is full screen, okay. If you click a mouse, the animation will be start. Yes, thank you. Stop, please. Stop clicking. I will ask you to click. So, usually authors looking in the metrics of the periodicals, the quarterly or impact factor. Click again, please.
Where, sir?
Click mouse. Yes, sure. We can see this journal. This is a very reputed journal field. One of the best journal in my area of the scientific interest. Click mouse. Yes, this is the same journal, but in another presentation. Click mouse, please. We can see here, next click. We can see here not only quartile, but the impact factor, which is very high. And it has first quartile of Scopus and Web of Science. It has impact factor of almost 5.6, and this is very reputed periodical. Successful publication in this journal confirmed the quality of the research. However, the publication in this journal is very hard process. Why? I will try to explain. Next slide, please. Yes. This presentation will be a brief introduction to my recent activity. I am not only scientist, but I am teaching the authors how to publish their scientific manuscripts successfully. But before the explanation, I try to prove you why I am sure of the fact that I am the best in this. So, at first, I am a scientist. Click mouse. I publish in Scopus since 1989, as you can see. This was my first publication in Scopus, but it was not my conscious decision, but rather my luck, because that time we did not know about Scopus at all. Next, click mouse. Since 2015, I am publishing in many manuscripts and self-learning how to publish in Scopus. And next slide, please. Yes, my first conscious presentation publication in Scopus was made in 2016. That year, I also teaching others how to we can publish our papers in Scopus. Besides, I was a guest editor of the special issue of the journal at that time. And the journal was third quartile of Scopus, the International Journal of Energy for a Clean Environment. And my work with authors, my work with scientists who try to publish in our special issue helps me to learn many different details. Please, next slide. Yes, so I am a scientist and know well all the details of the scientific publications. At first, task formulation, you can click. Yes, click for time. Yes. This is how the scientific research is formulated. Task formulation from the zero, from the scratch. Methods and procedure of the research determination. Research itself carrying out. The results obtained, analysis and interpretation. And then conclusions on the results, processing the result, approximation the results. This is the scientific experience. Next slide, please. Click, yes, click. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stop. I am a good author. I have first publication in third quarterly in 2016. The next year, I have next publication in the first quarterly. And in 2018, sorry, it was the year for extensive research and self-learning how to publish. And then last year we have with colleagues already 4 publications, 2 in third quarterly and 2 in first quarterly, you can see. And this year we have not 4 but already 5 publications. The last publication will be done just yesterday, and the maximum Hirsch index of the journal I have published is almost 200. This is that journal Fuel, which I showed you a couple of slides before. Please, next slide. As a good author, I have been involved by the editors of different journals into the reviewing process. My first review I wrote in 2017, and for now I made more than 50 reviews for different journals and different areas of the manuscripts. You can see the journals: Fuel Processing Technology, first quartile; Environmental Technology and Innovation, second quartile; Energy Report, Journal of Energy Institute; Energy Conversion Management, all of them first quartiles. I am working for Elsevier. I am working for Taylor and Francis. I am working from Wiley and Sons and other publishers who publish very reputed journals, and I know the reviewing process very well. I know what are all the points the reviewer analyze, what are the criteria of the manuscript evaluation. Please show the next slide. Yes, and finally, you know, I am the editor. Yes, Yes, finally, I am the editor. My first official editorial experience was in 2016, and since 2018, I am a managing editor, the permanent on the constant full time, maybe not full but part time obligations in the Journal of Energy for a Clean Environment. This means that I know well all the editorial job. I know well the criteria for the editor's evaluation of the submitted manuscripts. What should be checked, how the text must be organized, and other important points. I have to note here that all the journals received a huge number of manuscripts for now, much more than the journal can publish. Therefore, each journal has a so-called plan for rejection. So the big part of the manuscripts undergone to the rejection by default. This happens mostly, the rejection happens mostly at the first review at the editor's level, the first stage of the submitted manuscript evaluation. And for today, the average share of the rejection in all the journals is 80%. For very reputed journals, it can be 95%. So only 15, only 20% of the submitted manuscript will be passed to the next stage. And this this rejection share increased year by year. Please show next slide. Yes, finally. Finally, I have a great publishing experience. I was a publisher. I am stay in. I have my own scientific journal and published it from 2009 to 2015. For now, the journal is frozen because I have no time and resources to continue its publications, but due to this activity, I know very well all the smallest details of the publication processes, and I know what are the main interests of publishers. This is extremely important knowledge, and I show you why this is very important. Please show next slide, Ni. Yes. This slide, I would like to listen from the participants. What do you know about these three, maybe not three, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points? On one hand, this is well-known facts, but I would like to hear from you. What do you think? What is the purposes of these databases and parameters? Could somebody please make a brief description of these points? Hello, who want?
So Scopus is one of the largest. Scopus, I can tell you, Scopus is one of the largest abstract and citation database of peer-reviewed literature, sir, publishing scientific journals, books, conference proceedings in vast areas like science, technology, medicine, social science.
Yes, okay. What is Hirsch index?
Sir, in case of impact factor and cite score, it is basically the number of citations upon total number of publications in that journal. For 3 years, it is impact factor. For 2 years, it is side score.
Yes, okay. And of course, Hirsch Index, Quartilis, Saimaga Journal Rating, Side Score, But if you don't agree with the reviewer statement, with the reviewer evaluation of some of your results, you I mean exactly results, not introduction section, not the literature review, but exactly the results you present in your manuscript. If you do not agree, you can, and I would say you must stay on your own opinion if you're sure of your results. But your opinion must be explained and proved. And now please show next slide with a nice figure. It is very nice. It is not my figure, but it reflects definitely how the reviewers work. The upper pictures show you the example of your manuscript as described, and you can see that after the peer review and revision process, your manuscript becomes very interesting and more complex. I told you that we all are human, and each reviewer has its own goals, objectives, and desires. And you can look at this picture at the bottom of the picture, where the circle and triangle windows are added. The explanation is very simple. Because reviewer 3 sells odd-shaped windows, and this is maybe his business. This is, of course, a joke, but each joke has a big truth, and you never can understand why reviewer ask some question or ask some addition to the manuscript, but keep in mind that it try to solve its own goals. I like this picture very much, and it is very nice. And finally, yes, please show me the last slide. Yeah, to publish manuscript in the Scopus and Web of Science, and even in a very high reputed journal is very easy if you know how. And of course, it is hard if you don't know how. But you can anytime learn this. It takes time to learn, but it can be learned. For now, this is the end of my presentation, and I hope it was interesting for you. I can answer some questions if you have, and you can communicate with me directly by my email, which you can see at the bottom of the slide. I work with authors. This is not free of charge, but we always can come to agreement. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andre sir, for your wonderful talk. Definitely getting a research paper published in a Scopus index journal, it is so much of prestige is associated with it, and so much of hard work is also required in it. And at the same time, we all face rejections. So definitely, with your talk, with your guidance, now things would be much more easier for us probably. And we congratulate you once again for your multiple achievements and look forward to having you with us again. In case anybody is having any questions, which you want to put up to sir.
Yes, I am ready to answer if anybody have the question.
I think probably they'll connect with you over the mail, sir.
Okay, thank you very much.
I thank you once again, sir, for being with us today. I now request Ms. Gaganpreet Kaur to kindly say a few words and close the session. Ma'am, you are mute.
Oh, sorry. Could you please repeat again? Sorry.
I was requesting one of my colleagues, Ms. Gaganpreet Kaur, sir, to say a few words and then she'll be closing this session.
Thank you, Andre, sir. Good afternoon, all. I really feel honored and privileged to get the opportunity to propose closure to this session of FITE 2020. Yesterday, it was very nice thing. We hosted around 70 delegates from different universities and colleges from all streams of education, from technology to research and management. On the behalf of ABES EC family, I convey my regards and hearty thanks to our guest speakers, Professor Dr. Philip P. Emerita, Dean College of Engineering, University of Perpetual Health System, Delta, Calamba Campus, Philippines, and Dr. Professor Andre Kuzmin, Senior Researcher, Institute for Engineering Thermal Physics of National Academy of Sciences in Ukraine, Managing Editor, International Journal of Energy for a Clean Environment, Beagle House Incorporation, Publishers. I also like to thank all the honorable guests who blessed us with their presence. We and the other participating college got a lot of things out of this conference. Words are not enough to tell how this conference is going to help us in forming our curriculum and research. I also want to thank everyone enough for their involvement and willingness to take on the completion of tasks beyond their comfort zone. Thank you, everyone, for staying with us, for putting up with us. Thank you, sirs. Thank you, ma'ams.
Thank you very much for invitation. Thank you very much for your warm words. It was very, very pleasant for me to attend this conference. Thank you for invitation, and sorry for some technical troubles. Hope next time I will join you again, and the technical issues will be resolved from my side.
Thank you, sir. This brings us to the successful culmination of the morning session. After this, we'll be having the technical tracks. Our presentations are there in 2 sessions, followed by the valedictory session, which will be starting at 4 p.m. We have another guest talk in that session. Before calling it off, I request everybody to please switch on their cameras so that we can have a group photograph. If possible.
I think
commemorate the occasion, if possible.
If you allow me, I will attend you next section with the web camera. For now, my computer is connected to the external monitor, and web camera is on another computer. Sorry.
It's okay, sir. Others, if possible.
Okay. If you send me the link to the next session, I will join you.
Right, sir. Right, sir. Gagan ma'am, you can take the picture.
Thank you.
Ma'am, I have already taken. Thank you. Thank you.
Right, sir. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for being a part of this session, for being a part of the deliberations. We can now take a break and we'll meet in the next sessions. So you may leave. Thank you so much. Jai Hind.